Previously on Blue Healers.
Wedding!
I booked a stranger in this morning.
Yeah?
Name of Simon Curtis. Come on, Tom, he's got to be Grace's ex.
I mean, if Picky Porker doesn't like the way I am, he doesn't have to be here.
No apology, no dinner.
Simon.
What's your freaking dinner anyway?
Daniel!
Simon, could you leave him, please?
What do you want?
Private word with my wife.
I believe Simon came here with the express purpose of stopping our marriage. I must love you very much.
Message for you.
Later.
Yeah, Beryl, 2 good rings. You've just taken the wedding cakes out of the oven and they come up a treat.
Well, someone else is going to have to eat them. The wedding's on. Where's Curtis?
His room, roommate.
Is that all right?
I think you'll find it's Simon Curtis.
See him.
It's not very pleasant. There's a lot of blood. Well, you said he had AIDS.
Tom, I've got my job to do. You've got yours, okay?
All right. Well, at least we're leaving you.
Perhaps it's a crime scene.
What, in suspicious circumstances, aren't there?
Oh, God. In his mighty power at last, to bring good out of evil, to raise up life from the dead.
Looks like he whacked his head on the way down. I mean, jumping from that height wouldn't normally do the trick, would it?
Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Do you know who killed him?
Window smashed. Looks like suicide.
Never in a million years.
Because he was a Christian.
Because he was completely egocentric. Simon couldn't imagine the world existing without him. He wouldn't dream of killing himself. It's not suicide. Somebody's killed him. He has threatened suicide. It was just to get his own way. I mean, he stopped me from leaving him a few times by saying he'd kill himself.
Sometimes people who threaten finally do go through with it.
No, not Simon, Tom. I came to realise it was all bluff. He'd never deprived the world of his presence.
Even if he only had a couple of months to live?
Especially then. He'd milk whatever time he had left for all it was worth.
Your wedding was called off. Maybe he'd figured his work had been done.
No, he was just getting started, PJ. You won't rest on suicide, will you?
I have no view on the subject. It's a suspicious death. The cause will be decided by the coroner on evidence.
If you'll excuse me, I have my boys at home.
Grace told the boss her ex had a talent for making enemies.
Well, he was certainly smooth enough, wasn't he?
Did he have any visitors this morning?
Never saw him with anyone.
But you're not too certain?
Look, my guests have a right to privacy. I don't snoop.
Chrissy, we need a list of your guests and anyone who was at the pub at the time.
Can I get back to you on that?
I mean, he left his job for a reason. His ex-wife's remarrying. His kids are about to get a new father.
Plenty of people cop worse and don't neck themselves.
And some people fall apart over much less.
But why smash the window? Why not just open it?
Maybe it's stuck.
No. Well, if it was you taking the dry dive, would you do it from here?
It's as good a place as any.
Well, it's not that far to fall. I mean, it could just as easily have ended up in a spinal ward.
But he hit the skip and got dead lucky.
Is there some mystery?
Oh, PJ and Joe have been asking questions.
I'd certainly hope so.
Well, they wanted to know if Simon had had any visitors this morning, and I said I never saw him with anyone, which is true, because I never actually saw you with him in his room.
But you saw me go upstairs. And I'd be amazed if you hadn't heard something.
Well, I did happen to go upstairs.
Yeah, well, they're your stairs.
Oh, Tom, you know what cops are like.
I think I have some inkling, yes.
Look, imagine if I told them I heard all that shouting and threatening and crashing about and... I'm not going to say anything.
You actually think I killed that bloke?
No. No, of course I don't.
You think I might have tossed him out the window?
No. But then, I suppose I wouldn't have blamed you if you had.
And you wouldn't mind having a murderer running the local cop shop?
Oh, no. Not if it was you. I suppose it'd be all right, wouldn't it?
I sometimes wonder what sort of a world it is we live in.
A pretty good one, I think.
I'm going to say this to you once. I didn't kill him. Attempted, mind you, but I didn't do it. Just speaking to Chris, she seems to have forgotten to mention the fact that I visited Simon Curtis at the pub this morning.
When was this?
Oh, 11:30 or so. Just after Grace dropped in here to postpone the wedding.
So, what happened?
We had a free and frank exchange of opinions. Got a bit loud at one point. He took a swing at me. I held him off. He kept swinging, so I thumped him. Probably show up on the autopsy.
Are you kidding?
No.
I have to ask.
Yes, you do. And the answer is no. I didn't kill him.
Dr. Mel's got Curtis on the slab.
He was in a fight before he died.
How long before?
Pretty close. Too recent for bruising to develop. But you can see the marks of the fingers on his neck. And he'd taken a few punches to the torso as well.
It is a suspicious death.
Did you test for AIDS?
The blood test will take a while. But are you sure he claimed to have AIDS-related pneumocystis?
That's the lung thing, yeah.
Pneumocystis is a chest infection like pneumonia. It leaves scarring on the lungs, sometimes cysts.
And?
No scarring, no cysts, no pneumocystis.
If he didn't have AIDS, that weakens his motive for suicide.
Any idea of time of death?
Thought you'd never ask. It was in the lining of his pocket. The clasp was broken. Time of death, 11:33.
I've been racking my brains, and there was the sound of breaking glass and then the thump, but my mind was on the fisherman's basket, and, you know...
Chris, if you're going to lie to us, we can do it more comfortably down at the station.
Are you accusing me of lying?
You're impeding an investigation into a suspicious death.
So what's this lie again?
What Joe's getting at is that the deceased smashed his watch at 11:33 a.m. at least an hour before Tom and I came in here.
That lie.
We're waiting.
Well, Tom did come in here just after 11, and he asked for his nibs, and I sent him up to room 8.
Simon Curtis was in a fight before he died.
Never heard a thing.
And Senior Sergeant Croydon's demeanour was...
Calm.
We've got to be looking at the boss for it. We've got no choice.
Come off it.
I'm not saying he did it, but he was there at the right time, had motive coming out of his ears. Goes round to sort Curtis out, things get out of hand. Heat of the moment gives him his first and last flying lesson.
Person least likely.
But I've heard you say everyone's capable of it.
Chris just called. Got some fella there looking for Simon Curtis. Not sure what you should say.
Reverend Samuel Murray.
And your business with Mr. Curtis is...
Purely social. I'm the principal of the Missionary Bible College, where until recently Mr. Curtis taught African languages.
And his reason for leaving was...
Personal.
Didn't upset anyone, make anyone angry.
Why?
We'll get to that. You obviously knew where to find him.
Not really. I know his ex-wife is ministering here. I thought he might have come to visit his sons.
When did you arrive in Mount Thomas?
Just got off the train. Is he in some kind of trouble?
Well, I have to inform you that Mr. Curtis died today.
Died?
He fell from the upstairs window at the Imperial Hotel.
So when you asked if he'd made anyone angry...
Had he?
I'd rather not speak ill of the dead.
What about the living? Anyone that would have reason...
I'd like to be able to help you, but I can't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm needed at the college, and the trains here are so infrequent.
He said he couldn't help us and just left.
Curtis resigns for personal reasons. Now suddenly they're trying to find him. That reverend is hiding something.
When staff in these sorts of institutions cross the line, they usually hush it up and flick past them, you know that.
And if the line he'd crossed had made someone angry?
Worth following up.
Tess is on it.
Which, if you'll take my advice, leaves you free to call him homicide.
Boss...
You cannot look as if you're trying to shield me. To any outside observer, I've got to be a suspect.
The boss is right. He's a suspect.
Thank you, Parrish. I knew I could rely on you to say the diplomatic thing.
I'm not calling them in. Simple as that.
Well, you've got to.
I got on to the missionary college. The Reverend Murray's assistant was more than a touch acid about Simon Curtis. She said he was allowed to resign.
The translation being...
He was fired, and they wouldn't say why.
You don't close ranks unless there's something to hide.
Yeah, that's my point.
Just one more chat with the Reverend.
5'3" just here and 4'8" New South Wales. I mean, it was all Reverend? I was just expounding to the Reverend gentleman here differences.
Later, Brian. I've got some questions for the Reverend gentleman.
The train's due in 15 minutes.
13, actually.
So you have 13 minutes in which to ask them.
Why was Mr. Curtis allowed to resign?
I've already declined to tell you that.
It may help us find out why he died.
It won't.
Sir, any fact, however insignificant it may seem, can help us flesh out the total picture.
The nasty little predator's dead. The world's a cleaner place. End of story?
Now let's talk about you, sir. I want a full account of your movement since arriving at Mount Thomas.
I arrived today on the 1:35 train.
No. Look, there's no 1:35 train today due to a breakdown south of Shepparton. In fact, I saw the Reverend disembark on the 1:35 train yesterday.
I think we'll continue this down to the station. Let's start with nasty little predator. Just who was Mr. Curtis preying on?
It's not irrelevant.
It's a suspicious death, Mr. Murray.
Curtis was recalled from the mission field because of certain proclivities. When he came to us, he was very open, very repentant. I honestly thought he'd set his life on a new course.
And he hadn't?
He betrayed the college and me, personally. I told him he had to go.
Betrayed you personally, how?
Reverend Murray, why are you here?
It's not relevant.
I'm losing patience, sir. Start to cooperate or I may have to arrest you with all that implies in the way of unpleasant publicity for you and your college.
You take some time to think about that. All right, we're looking for motive. Bring back the missionary college and find out whatever you can about the Reverend's relationship with Simon Curtis.
I've got as much out of them as I think I'm likely to.
Hunt down family, friends.
Whatever I can.
All right, thanks for your help. No luck so far finding out where he stays.
Well, if he arrived here yesterday, he must have been put up somewhere.
All right, I'll keep on.
Oh, let's have another word to Chris, Joe. She saw the...
Afternoon, all.
Paul?
Hey, Tom.
Detective Sergeant.
Sorry, Tom.
Thought I might look at the crime scene first and then have a word. Whatever you think.
Paul, it's actually not a crime scene.
Not what I've heard. See you down there.
Well, I didn't call them. We've been joined at the hip for hours. How could I?
I called them. Well, you weren't going to.
Man, that's just dug his own grave.
You know very well it's a suspicious death, PJ. You should have notified homicide right from the outset.
We've got a suspect in there. Murray lied about his alibi. He hated Curtis. He's hiding something.
So toss him to Detective Sergeant Donald.
I wanted to toss him something concrete.
Just make sure you don't give Donald the impression you're fitting up the Reverend to save my bacon. You seriously fancy a bloke at a back-to-front collar for this?
The Reverend wasn't too fond of the deceased. He came sniffing around, trying to find out what we were up to. He's a bit short of an alibi. Join the dots.
I also get a pretty clear picture if I join the dots on your boss.
We talk.
Mind the store, Dougie?
See you in a bit.
What did you want to tell me, PJ?
You don't seriously believe that Tom Croydon is capable of murder?
He's engaged with the ex-wife of the deceased. He also engaged in a vigorous bout of fisticuff shortly before Curtis plummeted to his doom. As the Mount Thomas Gazette will no doubt describe the manner of his death.
He told you this, did he?
He's not a dill, PJ, and he doesn't think I am.
There's no way in the world that he's a murderer.
Now, the court might not see it as murder. Struggle, tussle, someone goes out a window, could have been manslaughter.
Paul, I know the man. He is not behaving like he killed someone this morning.
But you've never seen him after he killed someone. He may be one of the calm ones. PJ, listen to me. We've all been involved in the odd dust-up. Words are said, punches are thrown.
Sounds like every copper's party I ever went to.
Most times no one hits their head, no one goes out a window, no one dies. But every now and then one does, and when it does, that's murder. Manslaughter, whatever.
The boss didn't do it.
And if you're right, the evidence will show that. They
please, just hold back on him.
I didn't hear
Please.
that. I'm deaf and you never said that. Tom is in the frame along with everyone else, including your Reverend Murray. Thanks for that. When I last saw him, Curtis was alive. The window was intact. Next I hear he's dead in the lane. So basically, Tom, you had pretty strong motive. The deceased was making a mess of your life. Yes. And you were there about the right time. As I said. You're Catholic, aren't you, Tom? About to marry a divorcee. Oh, come on, Paul. Well, so I topped Grace's ex so I could have a church wedding. Do me a favour. I've seen murders committed because the soup was cold. I didn't do it. If you were sitting where I am and someone you didn't know told you this story, he'd be on my list. You're on my list, mate.
You're not suggesting that Sam might have killed Simon?
Well, it's possible.
No, I've known him for years. He's always struck me as, this is an old-fashioned term, but as a saintly man. I honestly don't know what you'd have to do to him to elicit the sort of feelings you're describing.
Grace, please, I don't want you to hold anything back here. Homicide are currently looking at Tom for this. After you dropped by this morning, Tom went to Simon's room. They had a fight. Tom told me this himself.
There's such a thing as righteous anger. There are things that we should be angry about.
We know about Tom, but what would make the Reverend righteously angry with Simon?
PJ, you have to ask him.
I got on to the Reverend Murray's wife. She's frantic. He left the house yesterday. She hasn't heard from him since.
Left yesterday.
Shortly after someone phoned to tell him that Simon Curtis has been going around saying he has AIDS.
Well, who was he saying this to?
Members of the college staff, alleging unfair dismissal.
Is that why Murray came looking for him?
He came looking for him because Murray's 17-year-old daughter is pregnant to Curtis.
Mr. Murray, I should tell you the autopsy on Curtis revealed absolutely no evidence that he was suffering from any AIDS-related condition. He was lying about it to manipulate both the college and his ex-wife.
Mr. Murray, is there anything we can do for you? Anything we can get you?
No. I thought my daughter, our grandchild in the womb. I can't. Thank you. Can I ring my wife? We've been going crazy.
Well, Sergeant Gallagher has just spoken to your wife a few minutes ago. She's been informed of the autopsy results.
May God forgive him. Never a thought for another human being.
You must have been very angry.
Yes, I was.
Came to Mount Thomas to find him.
Yes, and establish the truth. Have him charged by you people if I could.
Where did you stay?
A place called the Commercial.
Why didn't you tell us about this in the first place?
I booked in and had a drink. The first one in 15 years. And then, not proud of it, but couldn't seem to stop. Got to my room, fell on the bed, fully clothed. The maid woke me at midday. I tidied myself up and started checking hotels looking for Simon. Ended up here.
Simon Curtis died at 11:33, so if your alibi checks out...
And you thought I killed him?
Did you?
No. I could have. Easily could have. Man of the cloth. Would have been a bad look.
We'll be round later for a formal statement, but that's fine for the moment. Thanks. Bye. The maid confirms it was midday when she found Mr. Murray asleep in his room.
There goes the Reverend.
Evidence from the hotel room.
Where'd you find this?
In the hotel room, underneath the bedside table, pushed right up against the wall.
Why?
Because yesterday at the pub, we saw Simon Curtis give this to his son Daniel as a very special present.
So the son would have had this in his possession?
Oh, now listen, if you're trying to say that Daniel...
Now,
had
the
anything
same
to do
book's
with
turned
this-
up in Curtis's bedroom, suggesting the boy's been back there since yesterday.
Or Daniel returned it some other way. Or Grace returned it. Or the kid left it behind at the pub yesterday. Or any one of a dozen perfectly innocent explanations.
But there was animosity between father and son.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Daniel is not capable of murder.
Yes, it is evidence.
Thanks for the information, PJ. Get Daniel in for me, would you? I'm sorry for your loss, Daniel. And particularly sorry to be interviewing you on the same day. But the faster we move on an investigation, the fresher people's memories are. Okay?
Okay.
Can you tell us where you were late this morning, about 11:30?
At home.
All day?
Yep.
Can you confirm that?
I was working, but he's telling the truth.
Senior Detective Hasham and Constable Parrish said that yesterday at lunchtime they witnessed your father giving you this book. Can you confirm that this happened?
Yeah. He said it was his favourite book as a kid. What made him want to go to Africa and work.
So it would have been a pretty special kind of gift.
I guess.
But today we found it under a bedside table in your father's hotel room. Can you tell us how it got there?
I don't know.
You were given it yesterday.
But I didn't take it.
Sorry?
The police were there to prove that he'd set me up. For spraying graffiti on the wall.
I've heard about that, yeah.
So when he did that, I didn't want his poxy book, okay?
So what did you do with it?
I left it there on the hotel dining room.
We brought Curtis straight back here. He didn't have the book with him.
No.
So it's as Daniel alleges. He left the book on the table and Chris and one of the staff put it back in Simon's room.
Oh, you can check that.
PJ, you're on a witch hunt trying to prove it was anyone but me.
Because I know it wasn't you.
And I know it wasn't Daniel.
How do you know? Daniel could have taken the book back this morning. The whole thing gets physical. The book slides under the table and the father goes out the window.
PJ, I was at the scene minutes before. I would have seen Daniel if he was there.
You sure he didn't? Are you sure?
Thanks for your help, PJ, but no thanks.
Around the time Tom came looking for Curtis, could Daniel have been here?
Well, if he was, I didn't see him.
And when you came back to the bar after hearing the Barney, could someone have snuck through the residential entrance?
Sure, it's possible. It's open that time of day.
Daniel has explained how the book ended up back in Simon's room.
Well, the problem...
I will not have you hounding my son.
The problem is, Grace, that no one at the hotel remembers taking the book from the dining room to Simon's room.
Simon could have picked it up when he got back from the station.
The table had been cleared by then. It won't take long.
You in there, Daniel? What? Detective Hasham would like a word.
Oh, great.
It's about the book, mate.
What about it?
Are you sure you left it on the dining room table?
Yes.
PJ? Oh, Daniel. Just lost his father. Can't you leave him alone?
Grace, most police work is just about trying to establish timelines, finding out who was where and when.
Daniel has told you all that.
People's versions of events differ. Their memories can sometimes be faulty.
Oh, so they get treated like liars?
It's the only way of getting at the truth.
You have had the truth, Tom. In his bedroom, he's going into a terrible state.
Look, the people you should be talking to are PJ and the Homicide Squad. It's their case.
Right, I'll do that then. I do not want Daniel put through any more. Can I leave him here with you, please?
if you think it'd be safe. I went to see your dad this morning. I was very angry. Your mum had just told me that she was postponing our wedding because of your father's claim that he was ill.
Was he?
It would appear not.
That'd be right. Dad liked his own way. He'd say anything to get it.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, our parents are only human. Sometimes they make mistakes. Sometimes it takes a while to realise that.
Me on his side?
No. No, if there are sides at all of this, I'm on yours and your mother's. Look, your dad and I had a blue. It got a bit physical. I walked out, headed for the stairs. But I had the impression of seeing some movement in the upstairs hallway. Just a shadow. Not someone I could identify. Not something I could swear to in court.
I came to give the book back. I heard you shouting. You came out and I hid behind the door.
I see.
When you left, I put the book in the room. And I left. I didn't even speak to him.
Well, that's good enough for me, son. I suggest you tell the detectives just what you told me.
I chucked the book into the room and left.
Thanks, Daniel. That certainly explains the presence of the book in the room.
So, can we go now?
Just to get it clear in my mind, Daniel, to throw the book into the room, you, what, open the door?
Yeah.
How far?
What do you mean?
The book ended up under the bedside table. So how far did you open the door?
Right open.
And you threw the book like a ball, like a frisbee?
Like a frisbee. I landed on the floor and slid under.
Where was your father when all this was happening?
In the room.
Whereabouts in the room, mate?
Daniel. I killed him. I killed my father. Oh, no. Shh. Don't say another word. What in God's name do you think you were doing?
He told me he threw the book into the room and left. I believed him.
Do you have any understanding of the sense of betrayal I'm feeling right now? You sent him in there, a lamb to the slaughter.
All I did was urge him to tell the truth.
Not get a lawyer? Not get some advice about this?
I believed he was innocent.
Oh, who is innocent among us, Tom? I'm sure I don't know. Are you? And if you are, why did you do that to my son? What's happening here?
Daniel's free to go for the time being.
Grace, if you need a lawyer...
Oh, thank you, Detective. I'll get my legal advice elsewhere in future.
Pretty awful result.
Not one for the memoirs, no.
Mystery out of the frame.
Oh, yes. And the way it's been done makes me feel so good. 3 cheers for us. I'm at the hospital. Someone to visit. So, Simon, you got what you wanted, even though you had to die to do it.
Something I can help you with, Tom?
I read your autopsy report. You combed out his hair.
That's routine. It's in the report.
And you found...
Not a great deal. Dust, cotton fibres. What is it you're looking for?
glass. And there isn't any. Somebody pushes me through this window. The first thing that makes contact with the glass is the back of my head, right? So we should find glass embedded in his skull or in his hair at least. But what do we find? Cotton fibres.
But the glass was smashed.
Before he went through the window. I mean, this was intact when I left the room.
Daniel comes in, tosses the book, and while his father's watching, he uses something to smash the window?
And then pushes his father through the empty frame. It doesn't make sense.
Well, someone smashed the window, and if it wasn't Daniel...
Could have been his father.
Exactly. Only his hands were cut, so... He must have used something to smash the glass. But then, like, it's still here in this room.
Wrapped the towel around his fist, smashed out the window. Must have happened seconds after he left the room. He folded the towel, put it back on the wardrobe. Jumped into the skip, letting the boxers break his fall, then go into court saying you pushed him. He was trying to set you up like he did his son.
Within a matter of hours, Daniel has lost his father and been accused of his murder. So what more do you want from me?
Some information. It's information that could clear him. Please, Grace. Trust me.
I told you what happened.
I'm not sure that you did. Not all of it, anyway. Now, you heard shouting in the room. Then I came out and went downstairs. And you went into your dad's room.
I've told you all of this.
How long did you wait before you went in?
I wanted to wait for you to get clear.
So what, a minute? 2?
1 minute, maybe.
Now, during that 1 minute, did you hear anything?
Only the car crash.
The car crash?
I had a bit of a bump, then breaking glass. What?
What you heard was your father punching the window out.
Is that why?
Why what, mate?
I went in and chucked the book. And I saw him, he was crouched. Looking out the window like he was going to jump and kill himself. Dad! Dad! I gave him a fright and he fell. There was blood. I knew I'd killed him.
No, you didn't. Daniel, it was an accident. An accident that he caused himself.
We think that he was trying to fit Tom up for the assault. Like he fitted you up for the graffiti. Same motive.
He's trying to manipulate me into letting him stay, mate.
Get on to homicide. Page. Tell us all this before?
Because I'm responsible. Nothing you say changes that.
No, you're not. Daniel, this is not your fault. You mustn't believe that. If you do, it'll ruin you. Don't let it.
get the feeling that my sophisticated son just left us alone for a reason.
You can never tell what they're going to be. Toddlers or wise old men.
I owe you an apology.
I'm too old for apologies. Kiss it, dude.
So, that kiss.
What kiss?
That's a little kissing.
That's gross.
So that kiss, does that mean the wedding's still on?
Oh, there could be a bit of a timing problem.
Yes, the coroner will have to decide on when the funeral will be.
And if we miss this window in my bishop's diary, we'll have to go to the end of the queue.
I just want over with. I don't want to have to stress it.
I understand that, darling, but really, we
Well, like, how about tomorrow?
Well, paperwork's all in place, but you've got no idea what my bishop's diary's like.
My bishop, you seem like a chess player. I mean, Tom.
Tom?
Oh, I'm not going to call you Sergeant Croydon. You're a Mick, right?
I swear we don't say Mick.
Oh, one of your people could do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're right. I mean, Father Brian would have no qualms now.
Well, there could be some problems from my side of the fence, though.
Yeah, well, we could always have another ceremony later with Bishop Reynolds when he's free.
Oh, well, I wouldn't want a big... No, I don't want a lot of people.
No, just family.
Yeah, 2 adult witnesses.
Yeah. And secret menu.
What's a copper got to do to get a drink around here?
Hey.
Congratulations, Grace.
Oh, sorry, fellas.
Okay, cube.
2 beers?
What was that about?
Oh, look, Tom just wants me to witness something for him tomorrow.
Oh, something like a wedding?
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't have to. Come on. Where is it?
My lips are sealed.
Mrs. Robson, you're still parish secretary, aren't you? Yeah, look, I'm just wondering if you have any wedding...
If I could deliver a wedding present for them now. Just
So your
got to
mob
name
don't
the
have a
church.
wedding schedule?
Yeah, that's fine. Grace Curtis is one of your clients, isn't she?
Oh, well, thanks anyway.
Yeah, she's not getting her hair done today
thanks
by
anyway.
any
Right.
chance.
Are you delivering flowers to any weddings today?
Okay, I was just wondering.
No, they're not
Did she
Jewish.
say why she needed the day off?
Well, thanks for helping.
No special family occasion? All right, yeah. No. Sorry to bother you.
So where are they getting married? The moon?
Well, Susan has taken the day off work.
All right, where are we? Hair, suit hire, churches, flowers.
Rings, cars. Cake.
Cake?
The cake. The cake.
Beryl, Joe here from the cop shop. Just checking to see that the boss's wedding cake had been delivered to the right address. Wonderful. Okay, bye. Boss's house, 10 minutes.
Come on, don't dawdle.
Trust me.
Father, when you created mankind, you willed that man and wife should be one. Bind Thomas and Grace in their loving union of marriage, and make their love fruitful so that they may be loving witnesses to your divine love in the world. This is the love I mean. Not our love for God, but God's love for us when he sent his Son to be the sacrifice that takes our sins away. My dear people, since God has loved us so much, we too should love one another.
I, Thomas, take you, Grace, my lawful wife, to have it to hold.
From this day forward, for better, for worse,
For richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
until death us do part.
till death us do part.
May the Lord bless these rings which you give to each other as a sign of your love and fidelity.
Amen.
May the Lord God bless you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Tom, you may.
Thank you. Listen, if you lot think this isn't going to mean overtime bans and extra weekend shifts, you've got another thing coming.
It's your wedding day.
Chill out, boss.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Sing. Sing. Just, hey guys, listen.